Hello, my friends. This is the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twin Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. And that's not just blowing smoke. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke.
Cool breeze in my head, bittersweet smoke flying through the air. It's the way I feel, smoking on a fancy gun.
There we go.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I still don't hear anything.
What do you mean? You don't hear anything?
Hello? I don't hear myself
anything.
either.
You don't hear
myself
yourself?
a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
There we
We're
go.
live.
We're live?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, guys.
There, that's a little bit better.
You can hear me.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Okay. All right.
I
That
missed you
is
guys so
wrong.
much.
So wrong.
Well, you
On
can
so
hear.
many
If
levels.
you can hear everybody else, then that means everything's fine.
Yeah, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Because-
you.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but you're deaf. You're probably
What?
reading my lips anyway. I mean, I don't know if I'm
What?
hearing from you. All right.
I'm just here.
That's brotherly
fine.
love.
Yeah.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Not Just Blowing Smoke. Coming at you live from Twin Smoke Shop studio headquarters here in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Be sure to subscribe to us where you're watching. If you're on Facebook or YouTube and you're streaming it live, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're listening after the fact on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, wherever else you found this podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there so that you don't ever miss an episode. I am Pastor Padron. I'm here with my co-hosts, Pat and Dave. We've got a full set of couches today. We got some major guests on the show. We've got Debris from the 724 Lounge. We have Stacy from
Somewhere.
downstairs.
From down there. From everywhere.
From parts unknown.
And we have Altadis Adam Nigerian with us from Altadis.
And Adam.
And Adam. Yep.
Yep, Adam.
yep.
Adam, Altadis Adam. That's what we call him. Because
fine
that's
by
what
me.
he is. And for those of you wondering, he's the one in the red shirt. Bad things can happen because he's wearing a red shirt.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Oh.
The aliens are coming, and zap, we know
Yeah.
who's going.
I had a good run. 38's good.
Yeah, that's all right. We got the cigars anyway.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a fair
we do.
point.
All right.
Pack out a
and-
pipe.
Pack out a pipe. Yeah. We all bullied Pat into buying a pipe because he forgot his pipe.
Pat didn't buy a pipe. Pat was given a pipe.
Pat was given a pipe.
I'm a helper.
Did you say thank you, Pat?
In a way.
In
In a way.
Yeah.
And not in so many
That
words.
doesn't sound like something we could talk about on the show.
I would say no.
No.
I would say no. I've only
Oh,
cursed on this
my.
podcast once, and it was totally by accident, so let's not start.
Okay, let's not start there. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And we are starting off by smoking this petite little Robusto, which Adam says reminds him of himself. And
Short and
This-
round.
short
Ta-da.
round, yep.
I don't know.
And this is the
It's actually not. It's box press.
the Monte by Montecristo AJ Fernandez Robusto.
Yes.
That is a mouthful
How about it?
for such a small cigar.
That's why it's got all
That's
that
what she
band on
said.
it, huh?
It's got-
She said.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it's very good. And what are we pairing with this before we get into the cigar?
Something
Let's talk about
wet.
So, here at the 724 Lounge, we have decided to do a little Valentine's Day pairing. And we have 3 different spirits that are infused with blue and chocolate. And one of them is a Flor de Caña 7-year rum. So we are drinking pretty much a rum fashion, which is an old fashioned, but with chocolate infused Flor de Caña 7-year. So yes, that is our
Delightful.
first drink of the evening,
It's very refreshing.
which I have not sipped yet. Supped.
Yeah, try it.
Why can I hear myself?
You're supposed to pretend you don't.
We have a
I've been-
delay on the speakers that are overhead. That's
I've,
why.
I've been drinking way too much.
She had to get the recipe just right on the drink, so it's been a minute.
Oh no, I don't like that.
You're,
I know,
you're
right?
looking around like a bird that's very confused.
I know, right?
I don't like that.
Little rebird.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Yeah.
hearing myself talk.
So, we love hearing you talk, Bree.
I know I do.
See?
Aww.
So
We'll all
do you
get
think?
through it
What
together.
is it? The first time you've had your little concoction there?
Yeah, I mean the rum fashion, funny enough, was on our menu a while ago. Not with this particular rum and not with chocolate infused rum. So this would technically be my first time having this rendition of it, and it is refreshing and enjoyable. I almost would have expected it to be like too sweet because rum is sweet naturally. It's infused with chocolate, which is bittersweet, and then simple syrup is sweet. So, yeah, it's actually surprisingly
Lots of sweet
refreshing.
stuff.
Lots of sweet stuff.
Lots of
Sweet
sweet
stuff.
How do you think it goes with this cigar?
I'm sorry.
She was listening to
She's
herself.
captivated by herself.
Oh man.
Just pretend you're watching an old, martial arts movie from the 60s. What do you think about taking the cigar?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't gotten far enough into the cigar, but I think it's going to go well together. I'm not really getting much spice off of it, so I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to be like a sweet pairing and round off like that, or if it's going to get spicier as it goes along. But I'm enjoying the cigar alone a
I
lot.
think I can buy you a few minutes to smoke and think about it because there's some stuff I want to ask Adam about the cigar itself. We picked this, for tonight. Basically, it's Valentine's Day. We wanted to do some kind. How do you come up with a cigar for Valentine's Day? Well, Adam said, why don't we do a cigar with a collaboration?
Yeah, a nice little pair,
You know,
pairing
little
of companies.
Pairing of companies.
The
pairing
Romeo
of
and
people.
Juliet felt like two low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And the last time I was here, we did Romeo and Juliet, so
Yep.
we're going to pivot a little bit.
So, talk about the collaboration here. How did that?
Sure.
What? Do you know the details for the cigar?
I
Like,
do.
what's-
I do. Well, my phone does. So it is Ecuadorian Habano
Yes.
wrapper
Correct.
with Nicaraguan Criollo 98 binder.
Very true.
Or excuse me, yeah, Criollo
Yes,
98
you are
binder.
correct.
And Criollo 98 filler from Nicaragua and Dominican Piloto Cubano.
Very
So
good.
it's a nice, hybrid blend. This is from our first generation of collaborations with AJ Fernandez. And
First generation of
well,
collaboration.
absolutely. Listen, we've gone on to actually last time I was here, we did the H Upman, the new H Upman,
Yep.
and the new Romeo that he does with us. So this was his on his first three that he did with us. I believe it was 2017 that he did these with us, and they debuted at the trade show that year. And he had come to our sales meeting we had in Vegas before the show, and it was really something watching a person who you consider, one of the masters in the industry, who is successful all in his own rights, and
Right.
it doesn't need us to help him, and kind of thing. Talk so reverently about working with the brands that he was working with. So this was the same year we released the Gasper Intenso, the H Upman by AJ Fernandez, the light blue label, and this Montecristo. And the way he talked about these blends were the blends that his father and grandfather smoked, and the heritage of them were important to him. And he wanted to make a Montecristo, not an AJ Fernandez with a Montecristo label on it.
Right.
So it was a neat thing to watch him talk about it as not just a job.
And this was a more full-bodied interpretation
It is
of that. at the
absolutely.
time, right?
I mean, for sure. I still think it's right up there with maybe the strongest Montecristo that at least I've ever experienced. I think it does get to a pretty full body, and I think the blend itself would tell you that ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's not as spicy as I thought, like just in general that it would be with the tobaccos it has in it, but it's definitely, especially for Montecristo, high up there.
Well, these particular cigars, too, I should say, are from box. Is from a box from 2018. So there's some significant aging. on
Yeah,
the
those
cigar
cellos are
as
pretty
well.
dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you look at the cellos, it's
Got some dank on them.
pretty stinking amazing. It's,
They're yeller.
And
There
I
you
think
go.
that the
old
blend
yeller.
of the cigar will end up actually pairing pretty well with the drink,
I think so.
as described by by Brie. And this is one of my favorite Montecristos. And this size in particular is nice because
yeah, it's nice.
it's a
really
well balanced
short
size.
Robusto too.
Yeah, and the ring gauge isn't too big, and the soft press on it, kind of brings it down even more, which I appreciate. Because I think it's a 52, I believe, 4.5 by
54.
54. Yeah, 54, but it smokes on the smaller end of it because of that press.
Right.
So I think it's definitely a well balanced cigar. The strength will build through it, but it doesn't pop you up front. When you mentioned you weren't like that spiciness wasn't really forward at the light, it builds up as you go.
It makes
so
sense,
it's definitely a well balanced cigar, and again, that's pretty indicative of like stuff that AJ does do.
It's very smooth. It's very creamy, like
It's
you'd
enjoyable.
expect from a Montecristo, I think.
Yeah.
Lots of wood notes to me, some creaminess to it,
I am
a little
getting
bit
a
of
slight
spice.
cocoa on the room note.
Yeah, it's got a very, very nice flavor profile to it. Pat, you've been scowling at it since you lit it. Have you unraveled the secrets of the Montecristo, Monte by Montecristo AJ Fernandez Robusto yet?
I'll go last.
You'll go last? All right, Dave, that gives you a chance to say something original.
Get in there, bud.
I get a lot of tobacco notes.
Original, Dave. Original.
No, to me, it's definitely very creamy. I get a lot of, to me, it's like a mix between like woody and leathery notes. Goes back and forth between them. It's got a nice kind of like a sweetness to it, and there is a little bit of a spice in the retrohale.
Yeah.
To me. To me, the wood notes of the cedar linger on the mouthfeel. It's got good mouth.
Feel.
We can get away from saying that, right? Just as a group.
Yeah, we can
Mouthfeel.
stop. We can. I hate that.
Yeah.
I know it's an actual term, but it's like it just sounds
Great mouth.
Moderately cringe.
moderately cringy. Stacy, what are you getting off the cigar? I know you're new to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But there's people out there who are new and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
What do you agree, disagree?
I agree that it is a full flavor cigar, absolutely, and definitely taste the notes of the wood, as you were saying. Definitely can taste that in there. But it also does have a creaminess that does stay, so that makes it enjoyable for me and my palate personally. Yeah.
Pat, you're now last.
Your last, bud.
But not least.
We'll see.
It's one of those like
It's
to
very
me it's one of those like
municipal.
bitter cigars, which isn't a bad thing. It's it has like that dark oak wood cream on the palate, and then a like a bitter kind of dark earth, and then the retro to me has a lot of spice to it. I don't know if anyone else is getting that, and then like the room note from the smoke's also very spicy, like black pepper. But then on the retro you get black pepper. I'm trying to. There's like a savoriness to it, but the best way I can explain it's like kind of a vegetal savoriness to it. I don't know if.
Well, one of the things that I have always loved about this cigar is that as I get into it, I find it to be more herbal, almost like a
Yeah,
like
so
a
that's
black
what.
tea,
Yeah.
like kind of lingering flavor and aroma.
It's like that same kind of stuff you get from an Oriental pipe tobacco, I think. Like that
So-
herbal.
I can appreciate
You know,
that.
the years of age on it may have tamped that down some. Like other flavors could be more forward, but certainly when one of my recollections of having this, through the years, it has a more herbal note to it. So that's right in line with what I think was intended.
Yeah, and then it has like this sweetness to it,
Okay.
and this is the weird. I'm gonna get off track a little bit with what I usually say, but it has like kind of a coconut to it.
Coconut,
You know.
not cocoa and nuts.
I get that when I have the drink, but not by itself.
Yeah, I was just when you said coconut, I had just taken a sip, and that flavor kind of, it's not in there, but it's like, oh, that might be
I haven't
what
had
that
the
is.
drink yet, so that's just
So, all right,
cigar.
well, wouldn't be wrong.
for me. No, I know. It's
Okay.
everyone's
Everybody,
different.
yeah, everybody's palate's different.
You're just smelling the drink. That's all.
Now, the drink by itself, has a kind of a coconut kind of a flavor to it.
I feel like rum does that sometimes in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Yeah.
That's why it's so popular in the tropical beverages.
Very cool. So,
We're all like that, Bob.
Yeah. Audio media.
For all the,
Audio
for all the
media.
listeners, we're all bobbing our heads.
So we had the Super Bowl party here at Twins on Sunday night. Stacy, how did that go? I think you were the only one on the panel here who was there.
Yes, it was super successful. We were busy. Everybody had a great time. The food was amazing. That cake was to die for. Yeah, it was a rum cake with a Cool Whip frosting. Oh my gosh. Yes,
Sounds awesome.
it was delectable to say the least. But just all around, everybody enjoyed themselves, and it was really just is what we wanted everybody to.
Did people pretty much stay for the whole game?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Yeah.
definitely stayed for
Yeah.
the whole game.
I would,
Must have been pretty noisy.
To say the least. Yep, I got scared a few times when
Were
I
there-
wasn't paying
were
attention,
there
and people
people
were
who
yelling,
were-
and
Were there people who were rooting for either the Eagles or the Chiefs? I mean, was it, had people picked sides or?
it was more just like when somebody did like any sort of touchdown or something. The whole room went crazy, and the atmosphere was just wild, and it was definitely a fun time. Definitely memorable.
Yeah.
My first Super Bowl here at Twins. Yep, and I loved it. I'll be back for more. I'll be back to work for more. But I overall had a great experience, and I think everybody else did too. So
Yeah, and we were sold out here.
we were.
Yeah,
Yep,
it was
we
all
were
packed
sold out.
That's awesome too. Now, so obviously, Stacy watched the Super Bowl because she kind of had to. She was here. Did the rest of you watch the Super Bowl at all, or did you do something else? How was that Sunday to you?
Yep, me and the lady watched it. We had a nice assortment of chips and dips and salsa and nachos. And, Yep, I just watched it from the couch. It was
Yeah.
great.
Did you go watch it with Grandma, with Mom?
No.
No.
Nope. Just by ourselves.
Just by yourself?
Yep.
Left Mom by herself?
You left Mom too by yourself?
Okay, boy.
I think you guys should sit next to each other.
It's great.
We've tried that.
Just like that. Although,
It can get dangerous. We both have the desire to beat on each other. Out of love, of course.
Of course.
Out of
the only way.
Of course.
it's the only way.
So, did you enjoy the Super Bowl, Dave?
Until it ended, yes. I was rooting for the Eagles, Yeah.
Well, so you were happy for most of the game. And then
I was
got-
happy for most of the games, especially when Mahomes got hurt.
Yeah, that fourth quarter jumped
But,
up and bit
you know,
huh?
I think he was faking it just to, make people false hope or something like that. Yeah. I mean, personally, I can't stand him, but he's a superb athlete, and he makes everything look easy, which is probably why I hate him even
Which
more.
is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam, what about you? Did you
Yeah,
watch the
I
Super
just
Bowl?
watched
Or
it
is
from
it's
home.
not baseball, so no.
Listen, you have to understand when the
Yes.
Super Bowl's over,
Yes.
that means baseball's coming,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So,
So you're
I'm excited for
basically-
the XFL.
You're excited for the Super Bowl because it means football is over.
ish, yeah, sure.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
that-
yeah.
enough.
It was a
Fair
fun
enough.
game.
It was
you
a
know.
fun game. Did you
Watched
watch
it at
Did you-
home with a lot of Chinese food and just had a good
Oh,
time.
Chinese food.
You know,
That's nice. Yeah.
It was, I lived in Philly for a decade or so, so
Were
I
you
was-
rooting for the Eagles as well?
my heart was, but my head knew better.
Okay. Yes.
So,
So
the,
you put money on
the
it?
money went to the Chiefs,
Yeah,
but
the
I wasn't. But this is what it is. It's but it was. I mean, at least it was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good time. It could have been worse. That's for sure.
It could have been
Could have
worse.
been worse.
It could have been worse.
Can't be upset about it.
Pat, you used to play football. So
Mm-hmm.
is that something you're still interested in? Or did you watch the game at all? Or
Yeah, I was here and I watched it.
Oh, you were here on Sunday.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Oh,
Briary.
you were here too?
We were at the same table.
I didn't know that you guys were here. I just said you were the only one here, and they were saying you're
Well,
here.
she
I
was
thought you
I
meant
thought you meant
working.
working.
Liar.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like working
Yeah.
the event, which
Yeah.
I was working.
I was
so.
doing homework and watching commercials. Pat was there. We were
And he was
indulging
watching
in
games
food and
then,
drinks.
during the commercials doing something else. What'd you think? What'd you think of the game?
Yeah, it was a good game. I'm happy it was. I thought it was gonna be a blowout,
Mm.
but I mean,
I hate that. I hate it. You know, at a Super Bowl or any real big game, you're excited about these two big teams getting together, and one just blows out. So it's not even. It's like, what's the point of watching it? You know?
Yeah.
yeah,
Unless
I
you're a
agree with
Pats fan, you watch Brady come back with 30 points. You know, that's
Well, yeah. I mean that
That's,
whole that Super Bowl with them and the Falcons was freaking amazing.
Yep.
I was ready to. I was starting to cry and everything, and then our we lost our cable or whatever, and we were able to stream it, but only in Spanish. But once we started streaming it in Spanish, they started to come back, and we're like, "Oh, keep it
Perfect.
on!
Yeah, just keep it right there.
Just keep it
right
on!"
there.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was I can't believe how great that game was. That comeback was out of this world.
yeah. So there was something also special about that Super Bowl that had nothing to do with football. It was the first time with the flyover
Oh,
that
yeah,
the
all
planes were
females.
all piloted by females. Yep, all woman crew. First time ever. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That is very awesome, and a piece of trivia that where did you even find out about?
A meme.
I mean,
However, they also captured
reputable.
it on the Super Bowl.
They also
that are all
captured it.
female flyers.
so have they done it again since all female flyers?
Well, that was the first time.
But have they
Super
done it
Bowl.
again?
Well, there's only
That was only
That
the
was this
first
week.
time.
There was no
Absolutely.
meme about that, so
Oh.
he doesn't know.
Oh, yeah. If it's not in a meme, I don't trust it.
now I know how to
That's
reach
right.
Dave. That's good. I
I
understand.
don't know what you mean.
Oh,
He speaks memeish.
yeah. Did you care about the Super Bowl, Bree?
You know what? I cared about the ASPCA commercial comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I cared about the commercials. I normally care about the halftime show. But that's about it.
I'll be honest. I did not watch the Super Bowl. I did not really care about either team. My parents are from Pittsburgh, therefore Philadelphia.
You can't root for the Eagles.
I can't root for the Eagles. And I have a kind of a rivalry with an old pastor friend of mine who was way into the Chiefs, and it got so bad that I just can't. So it was like, these are two teams that I could care less. They could both blow themselves up, and I'd be happier.
You just wanted
So-
everybody to have fun.
My
Right?
girls, but in my house, growing up in this generation, there's really no such thing as live TV, really. Everybody streams their stuff or saves it and watches it later, or something like that. I mean,
Downloads it as a podcast.
how many people actually watch live TV? I don't know, but
Other
it's not.
than that, no.
It's not my house. My girls don't know what commercials are. They don't know the angst of waiting for 9 months for your show to come back after the season's over to see what happens at the cliffhanger. They have no idea what that's like. So we were all watching a
When
culmination.
the president comes on and your show gets canceled.
Yeah. We now join the scheduled program already in progress. Oh, thank you so much. So we were watching Chuck, reruns of Chuck, and then on the total opposite ends of the spectrum, once there were 2 episodes of The Last of Us. But while that was going on, I'm like looking at the score on my, laptop, and so I knew people were going to ask. You can't not know nothing about what went on.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to. But by the time the fourth quarter happened, and that whole flip with the Eagles had basically been leading, tie or in the lead the whole time, and then to see the Chiefs come back, I said, "Oh, this looked like it probably would have been a really good game." It would have been an entertaining game to watch.
Yeah,
It
really
was. There was definitely a lot of athleticism in the game. That was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of amazing catches.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, Bree, you said that you were interested in the commercials.
Always.
In my house, when we watch the Super Bowl, the commercials are just as important as the game.
Oh yeah.
Were there any that really stood out to you?
I did. Okay, so of course my number one was the ASPCA commercial, bringing it back, and she's in the tent with the wolf.
Mhm.
He's like, that's a wolf, right? That's number one for me. Number two, I think, was that Blue Moon commercial where the chorus and the Miller Lite guy were like
that was
freaking it out. They're,
priceless.
like,
That was priceless. Oh, this is this commercial. Oh, this is this commercial. Actually, this is a Blue Moon commercial. It's like, how did they get away with that?
Yeah,
Right?
I think they're owned by the same like parent company, or like Blue Moon's owned by.
I think Blue Moon is Coors. I
Yeah.
don't know how the Miller fits in.
That was
but-
really funny. I was just watching that. I was like, oh,
Ouch.
because Blue Moon's not
Another
that
monopoly tricking you into thinking you have options. Yeah, right.
I shouldn't laugh at that, actually. Anyway,
So you want to tell us?
we're good.
Was there any other commercials that stood
bad.
out?
Indiana Jones. Yep, I
Indiana
was happy
Jones
to see that.
5. How was the preview that they showed?
No, I was really happy with it. I can't wait to see it.
A couple new movies to see.
I'm not gonna lie. The Nike movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I
Nike
want to see
movie?
that movie.
That
now.
really looked good. The Nike
I don't-
movie.
Yeah.
I don't know
looked
anything
really-
about that. Tell me about the Nike movie.
So that's got Matt Damon and Ben Affleck
Mhm.
and
Of course it does.
and
Jason
They're-
Bateman's in it.
and
Count
Jason
me in.
Bateman in it. And they're basically it's a story about
Nike.
no, it's a story about
Yes, just say
getting
yes.
getting Michael Jordan doing the air and like how that became a thing.
Okay.
And it was actually a very diverse topic back then. So it was just basically like a shot in the dark that ended up changing the world as far as footwear was concerned.
Like House of Gucci, but Nike.
Yeah.
I like Nike.
And then, of course, like, you can't forget about Cocaine Bear.
Oh, Cocaine Bear. That movie just seems so.
Based on a true story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm finishing everybody's sentence.
Does that? I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah,
Cocaine Bear. Did you see that commercial?
I did not. Unfortunately, I missed that one. But,
Yeah, I think I missed that one too.
So it looks like a dramatization because, like, the true story was not that vigorous. The true story was more or less, I believe, there was like a bear carcass like that was found that like the bear had consumed a large amount of cocaine parcels from some drug dealers that like I think had to drop the load overhead. And when the bear's body was found, they were trying to figure out what was like it was. I forget the whole story, but more or less they found a ton of cocaine in this bear. So it looks as if Hollywood has taken that
Tragedy.
historical find and made it into something completely.
Turned the bear into a terrorist.
So yeah, well, sounds like Hollywood to me.
Oh, Smokey.
They better tie that in. Smoke it.
Yeah, of course.
I can see the jokes coming.
Oh boy.
And Dave, I'm surprised you didn't mention the Flash commercial.
The Flash commercial, yeah, that was awesome, and especially seeing Michael Keaton saying "I'm Batman" was awesome and so nostalgic.
So I missed the first 90% of that commercial, and then I came in for that part, and I thought I was trying to figure out what product it was for, figuring it was some kind of
Right.
parody.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wait, it's a movie. Okay.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
I was like, oh, all right, I could get behind it.
Bree, going back to my last question for you, what do you think of the cigar and the parent? Now that you've had some time to smoke through it,
Still just very enjoyable.
you
Like,
liking the pairing and how it works together?
It's another pairing that you don't really have to think about. There's nothing difficult about it. The construction on the cigar is going really well. I haven't had to relight it once. I'm finally just getting to the point where I'm getting a little bit of that spice on the back of the palate, but I feel like the drink is actually evening that out very nicely.
Yeah.
I
The
think
drink
that makes
is
it a
very-
really good pairing for this, the way it kind of contrasts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
The
like we've
sweet
done stuff
spice.
before that kind of worked together with the flavor of the tobacco, and I kind of like the contrasts, the sweetness with a little bit of that spice.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
I knew the rum would go.
Yeah.
And even the chocolate infused.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? How did they come up with that?
So more or less, so Loon Chocolate, that's a vendor that we work very closely with here at Twins. And so they released these little elixir kits, which you guys have probably seen in liquor stores. They have more or less like different ingredients, herbs, like flavors. So it's like an empty bottle with just like cacao and like a few other like spices and flavoring. So more or less, you're supposed to pour whichever spirit you would like into that, let it sit for a couple of weeks, and then enjoy it however you please. So we did that with vodka, rum, and bourbon. So it's supposed to be, you take your favorite spirit and then you add that Loon chocolate flavor into the mix, and you can experiment. It's kind of cool because it allows the consumer to take it whichever direction they would like. So I'm enjoying it. It's unique. A lot of bars do more like with infusions. I've seen places that do like their own jalapeno infused tequila,
On a stick.
chocolate infused bourbon, the like. So, yeah.
What do you think of the pairing there, Pat?
I think it went well together. Kind of added more of a sweetness to the cigar, and had like a chocolate kind of citrus to it.
There are orange bitters in it as well.
That is.
Yeah, you can definitely taste that. It's very good. It's a very refreshing drink.
Yeah.
So it's like you have the cigar and really kind of both cleanses your palate, but in a way that really complements the flavors that you're getting with the cigar too. It's very nice.
It's kind of interesting because obviously like the base of everything is spiced rum, which typically, you do a shot of spiced rum on its own. It's a very pungent flavor. And then when you're adding ingredients to a spiced rum, a lot of times you're adding ingredients that are either going to like complement that spice or sweeten it up or like dull it down. So I feel like between the simple syrup, the orange bitters, and the ice mixture, it's helping pair with the cigar. Like the spice from the cigar, the spice from the rum,
Sure.
as a whole.
Now, Adam, we've got TPE coming up next
Yes.
week. You're going to be there.
I won't be.
You won't be.
The company will
The
be.
company will be.
But
Do they ever send you to those things?
No, that's okay. I'm
No?
good.
You sure?
Positive.
Why don't you go? Don't you like to go?
This
Don't you
I'm
like
a,
trips?
I'm a,
No
I'm a-
TP for Adam.
I'm a winter weather guy.
You're-
I don't know if that isn't obvious. So like staying where it's cold is good. Las Vegas is
This
good
isn't
out
a
there.
good time of year to be in Las Vegas?
not for me.
Not for you?
No, I like the cold. I don't want to miss it.
You like the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of outdoor things do you like? I mean, as a baseball person, I would think you would like spring and summer
Oh sure. That when it's time.
when it's time.
It's February. It's not time. It's not time to sweat. It's February.
I could have it be 80 degrees all year round, and I'd be very happy.
Bye.
Yeah, enjoy. There's places you can do that.
There
I'm sure.
There are,
You know?
a couple weeks ago down in Honduras, it was 75 to 85 any given day of the week, and
Man, listen.
I was very happy there.
We talked about
Very happy.
Look at those.
this
balls.
earlier today when thank
She
you.
does have some nice balls.
Oh, there it is.
Those were big.
So
balls.
cold.
Just
Double
the
balls.
the difference in temperature when we came back from our trip, because when you were in Honduras, we were at our sales meeting in the Dominican touring our new factory.
Yep.
And it was 100 degrees colder when I got home than it was when I left in the same day. I'm like, I don't think that's supposed to happen. Like, that's not a thing.
Probably not good for you.
And it wasn't like it was gorgeous in the Dominican, but it was just that cold here. Like
Yeah,
it was not,
yeah.
it wasn't overly hot or anything, but then it was
No,
just like, oh, okay,
no.
cool.
80 to minus 20. Yeah.
Yeah, like I got picked up wearing from the airport wearing shorts and a long sleeve T-shirt.
You didn't
It was like-
didn't dress for where you were going.
Yeah, it's weird, and didn't pack for that, I
You
guess.
didn't pack for that.
But it was jarring. Let's just say it was jarring.
Yeah. I'm going to run to the car.
Oh, it was no. So I called my ride when I got there. I'm like, you have that car right by the door, every vent open, the heat all the way up. Like I'm not gonna be outside for more than 30 seconds here. This is not gonna work here. Like we're not stopping for traffic. I'm just running across that street. Like forget it.
So do you go to any of the trade shows, or do you kind of skip out?
So right now, like the company, as I understand it, won't be exhibiting at PCA.
Right.
We support PCA as we're associate members. We just don't exhibit at the show. So we don't go to that anymore. I'm usually.
Is that a big relief for you? That there's a lot of work involved with that.
There's a lot of work involved, but it also gives me the opportunity. Like I miss seeing friends that work in different areas of the country, but business decisions are business decisions. Right. So it's I miss the seeing people part, but it's but other than that, it's usually 3 days inside one location. And
Las Vegas in the summer, I could leave that too.
Sure, I mean it's an
like
affront.
the heat.
It's an affront to all things holy that there are people that live there.
Yeah,
like it's really bizarre to me that people choose that. But no, it's usually 3 or 4 days inside one place, and then leaving to get on the plane. It's like, what's that thing in the sky? Oh, it's the sun. It's haven't seen that for a few days. But it's always fun to go. But it's work. You know what I mean? Like, so it's on the show floor at 7:30, getting ready for 8:30 opening. It's it's a lot, and I'd rather be in stores and doing the job that way, but it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were down in the Dominican.
Yes.
Recently. What was that trip about? What was it like?
So we had our national sales meeting down there. First time we'd actually all gotten together in literal years because of COVID.
Yeah.
And it was also to show us our new factory. We have a new Tabacalera de Garcia. That is now a premium only facility, only hand rolled products, and they basically it is right across the parking lot from the old TDG, so it's in the same location. It's just you go through a different entryway to get in, and it was incredibly modern, everything. Like it is one of the first factories I've been to that actually has multiple buildings on the campus. So it's a little different. It was a different experience than what I'm used to seeing. Right. And I don't know if we had a chance to talk about it, but it's like my ignorance of the way things are run with how digital everything is there for a product that is totally handmade from the boxes to the cigars. Yeah. Like how much control they have over everything. It's crazy, touring even the cedar room that we have, at any given time, there's 7 million cigars. Jeez. And the level of control they have over what's in there. Like, it's easy to just, pull up. They know exactly what's where. I'm used to going and seeing places with, a whiteboard or a chalkboard with lists of everything, and this was just all, they could scan a tray and they tell you exactly what was in there, how many were in there, if any were taken out, if any were put back. It was just the level of control was crazy. It was just I was overwhelmed by it, and it's neat to see too, because you see stickers over stickers on the reusing the trays and everything, where it's like, oh wow, I remember that cigar from however long ago. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's not a thing anymore, but it was just everything is how streamlined everything is, and how they're not getting rid of anything and reusing everything and having everything they need in one spot. It was really overwhelming. It was really cool. But
to help pump up your excitement about the company as a whole, the brands that they make, and
I mean, it definitely made me feel better about knowing that it's not the tobacco and stuff is shipping is delayed on anything, or there's a back order on something. I can tell you positively, it's the stuff we don't make that holds it up. It's the tubes, the cellophane, the labels, because the tobacco is there. I can tell you from eyewitnessing it is, and just the huge floor of rollers, and it's crazy to watch, and it's not something that's available to everybody, but if anybody could ever get down to tour a place like that, highly recommend it. Because every time I go to a factory, I'm reminded that it's crazy that these things aren't more expensive than they are.
Yeah.
Where it's all of that work, and you're going to charge me what for it? Oh, okay. Cool. Good deal. You know, like it's really gives a different appreciation, I think, you know.
Sure. We're going to be doing a pipe too tonight, so I don't want to wax too long with this whole segment. So what's our final thoughts on the Monte by Montecristo AJ Fernandez Robusto?
Well, this 5-year-old cigar is absolutely amazing. So creamy. Still got a good kick to it. I love the retrohale. The spice and the black pepper and the retrohale is definitely my favorite part of it.
I did get some of the coconut too.
You got that?
Yep, I did. I ended up getting that, and it was definitely good.
I would do it again. I think this is a go-to pairing, like one that you can just kind of be like, you know what, I'm gonna smoke that Montecristo again. Have a rum fashion.
Yeah, no, and I think that pairing really is perfect because like I never would have. If you told me, oh, we have this chocolate rum, I'd have been, okay, good for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, enjoy that.
Enjoy that over there.
You know, I never would have thought to drink it, but like, especially with a cigar like this that has that kind of back end black pepper flavor, it blends perfect. Like, it really mellows that out perfectly.
Yeah, when I heard about the pairing, I raised my eyebrow. I was like, what? Oh, okay.
What I kind of noticed too is like just in my personal opinion, like that difference between flavored and infused. I think that like a lot of people, they hear it, if you put like a flavor next to something, like you say chocolate bourbon or raspberry bourbon, everyone's like, I don't know about that, myself included. And I think that would be the difference between taking like an artificial raspberry flavor or chocolate flavor, like a separate entity or syrup, and adding it into said bourbon like an ingredient. And so I think the infusion process allows you to really take something that's a pure spirit and introduce new flavors rather than introducing something that's artificial or fake. So
it doesn't like sit over top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like infusion, I think is the future of craft cocktails in a sense. You know, like you can infuse
I can
anything.
see that, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of people are infusing all sorts of stuff. You go to like speakeasies, they have like all sorts of different herbs infused into all sorts of different spirits, and it's your way of kind of taking already complex spirit and turning it into something unique.
Fusion is the
cause.
future.
Yeah.
Do you see that as something you'd like to see happen more at Twins, or do you think we're kind of a different animal and that's not our thing? Or
I think honestly, in moderation, there are certain things where we would sell a lot of it. For example, we've talked about doing a jalapeno infused tequila because we make a lot of spicy margaritas. Even like taking like a rum or bourbon and doing the chocolate infusion because that flavor profile does go well with a lot of cigars. So I'd say like jalapeno, chocolate, a lot of the basics might be more popular. Whereas when you get into the more unique territory, it might kind of sit on the shelf for a while because people will be like, what is that? I don't know.
can see a jalapeno vodka or tequila doing really well here.
Yeah.
That's some of the stuff we do. What about you, Pat? What do you think? Final thoughts?
I'd say like predicting what this is probably like out of the box. You guys still make this, right?
We have limited quantities left, but yeah, we do still have inventory on it. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say it reminds me of the 1935. If it were younger, if you get like more of those spice notes in. I don't know if you agree with that, but I mean, the 1935 is to me a much better cigar, but I think this kind of reminds me a little bit of it when it comes to like the body, the spice, like the Nicaraguan tobacco that's in it. So if you,
I think that's a fair comparison. Like especially towards when the cigar first came out, would have been like a definite comparison. Like there would be they would kind of stand next to each other. You know,
Almost like a natural versus Maduro.
essentially,
kinda
yes.
like that?
Yeah, without having that difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I mean, you know, something else about this cigar being 4.5 inches. It's a great wintertime cigar.
Yep.
You know, it's not that long, and it's a really good cigar. You can sip it, make it last for a while. You could probably I mean, we've been talking a lot as we've been smoking, but you could probably do this in 30 minutes and not be like rushing.
And not really hurt yourself.
Right, and not really hurt yourself. So, you know, it's a great shorter smoke.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've really enjoyed this. I thought the pairing went well.
Big fan of the size.
She did say it, so I mean.
All right, well, let's pass these around.
So I'm gonna recommend taking your cherry stem thing and keeping it so you can mix your drink around in the next one. Okay, this little
Yeah, don't pop
Save
your
that.
cherry.
Okay.
needs a little stir.
Pass these.
Awesome.
Almost ate mine.
You can't eat the cherry, but keep the stick at least.
I'm just gonna keep.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are probably going to need a little stir.
Little stir.
Little
A
stuff.
lot going on here.
Yep. Oh. That's yours then, right?
Yes. One's for Sean.
And one's for Sean.
He's,
Yep.
Oh, he's at the bar.
Good job, Sean.
He's at the bar.
It's working hard.
Work it hard, baby.
All right. Now, for our pipe tobacco tonight, we are doing something that is new to Twins. It's not a new blend, but it is Gawith Hoggarth's
They've had a pipe.
Louisiana Flake. And, there it is there. Bree's got
gonna
it.
be
She's
sharing all of
back in her
that.
pipe right now.
Back at the
And
pipe.
this is the well, let me read what it says. The first is what it says from the box. Gawith Hoggarth and Co.'s Louisiana Flake is a medium-strength dark flake tobacco composed of naturally sweet Virginias, nutty Burleys, smoky dark-fired Kentucky, and a whisper of Perique, elevated by a light cocoa casing complementing the
I
tobacco's
wasn't
natural
ready for that.
flavors. And then also from Tobacco Reviews, it says that Gawith Hoggarth's only Virginia Perique flake and has added a twist of a chocolatey topping. The Perique is used sparingly to give a light figgy taste, but none of the punchy twang found at higher levels. The light chocolate topping brings out a nutty sweetness from the Virginias and combines for a mellow and flavorsome smoke, medium-bodied, and a great introduction to Perique tobaccos. So this is Gawith Hoggarth, that small company in England, in Kendall, and Virginia, Burley, dark-fired, Kentucky, Perique, and the flakes are these really long, they're, 6-7 inches long, again made on their machines, which date back to the 1790s. It's some really old style stuff. We've talked about that a lot when we've had tobacco from this company on. You don't get much more old school than Gawith Hoggarth. So let's light this up here. My pipe's already been packed and pre-lit, so I just need to get it going. Yeah, this came into the store a little over a week ago, and when I first lit it up, I just thought I started to fall in love with it. It's a great Virginia Perique. It's got a lot
Thank
going
you.
on because of the other tobaccos in there. That chocolate topping. It's not like you smoke it and say, "Oh, they topped it with chocolate."
No,
But-
you can barely even taste it.
But it really just kind of brings out the sweetness of the Virginias and the Burleys. So that nuttiness of the Burleys and those dark stone fruit kind of flavors you get from the Virginias really just kind of pop more with that. You need a tamp or two. See, I can read the...
You speak Brianese.
I speak Brianese. Dave, what are you getting from the pipe so far?
I'm getting a lot of spice, and definitely some undertones of that fig. They're both, I think, the Perique and the Virginias, they seem pretty well balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Not getting much of a retro hail out of it yet, but I'm still trying to get the bowl going here.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't had the drink yet, though.
Yeah, neither have I. Adam, I'm interested in what you think, being that we kind of sprung this on you.
I definitely get like some of that dried fruit
Mm-hmm.
flavor. I wouldn't have guessed fig,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely like a dried fruit forward. Also, being that the last time I smoked my pipe was on here like a year ago.
Wow.
I am definitely getting the bowl going still, and I'm sure it's going to be burning hotter than it should. So that's going to affect those flavors for sure. Thank you. But that dried fruit, little bit of the what I would equate to like the Perique, flavor, like tip of my tongue, kind of not spicy is the wrong word, but tingle kind of going on the front of my tongue.
Tingle.
Tingle,
Yeah,
huh?
you can go ahead and cut
What was he
that. You
talking
wanna
about
timestamp that?
A little tingle.
But yeah, I'll be the guy who's constantly lighting my pipe, and it was well packed though. Thank you, sir. That was
Dave
not done by
does
me.
know how to pack pipe, especially if it's somebody
That's
else's
what she said.
pipe. Pat, what are your thoughts so far?
I bet he loves it.
I thought, seriously, I really thought Pat would enjoy this particular blend, so I want to know what he thinks.
Wow.
It's good. There's has a good spice in the retro. I'm getting more of like a peach sweetness out of it than a plum or stone fruit. There's hay, figs, and then
Hairy fig.
Hairy figs? What the hell does that even mean?
I didn't say hair, did I?
No.
Dave did.
Hairy figs. I'm picking up hairy fig. What is a hairy fig? If I see a fig with hair on it, I'm not eating it.
It's not a naked fig.
No.
All right, Pat.
Okay, I take it back. It's a shaved fig.
Boy.
It's gonna be quiet.
Have you already used your 5,000
The
words today, Pat?
My what?
Men generally speak about 5,000 words a day, and when they're done, they're really done, And I'm wondering if you've already used your 5,000 words.
I don't know what to say after hairy fig.
Well, you could say, I disagree with that.
I don't even know how to explain how I disagree
I know,
with
honestly,
that.
I meant to say hay fig, but it just came out a hairy fig. So,
Where's your
That's a
head?
whole
Babe?
lot
Where's
better.
your mind?
not on hairy fig, apparently.
Wow.
Nobody's used my nickname in so long.
I don't think I would have used the word peach to describe the kind of fruity sweetness that's there until Pat said it. The more I think about it, the more
It's
I
like
can
an
really
inception.
I can
I
really
hate
agree
it.
to that. It's definitely there, but there's this nuttiness, this spiciness going on.
Fuzzy peach.
Quit thinking about hair and fruit. Quit thinking about hair and fruit. Okay? This is that's just too weird. It's almost becoming X-rated or something. I don't know.
I don't know where your mind's going, but all right.
Well, it ain't anywhere near where your mind is.
Probably not.
That's what's really important here.
That's the important part.
So it is Valentine's Day. I thought I would share some facts and stats about Valentine's Day and kind of get us in the mood to talk about this august holiday that we are in. Let's talk about origins. Valentine's Day really ultimately goes back to a Roman priest whose name was Valentine. And in the Catholic Church, he's been sainted, Saint Valentine's Day. And in the he was actually martyred on February 14th in 269 AD. And the story goes that the Emperor Claudius II made this rule that soldiers in his army could not be married because he thought it would make them fight better if they weren't worried about leaving their wife or whatever at home. But it was a very unpopular rule. And Valentine secretly married these guys and was, in the end, caught, imprisoned, and ultimately died because of that. And so there's the whole Valentine's Day thing back there. But Valentine's Day, you know, started to be celebrated as a holiday with Valentine's Day cards and stuff like that in the 18th century in Europe. And the latest figures show that people in the U.S. today spent about $22 billion on Valentine's Day, with an average spending of $165 a person. With men, and here's something very interesting: men, on average, spend $230 on Valentine's Day, whereas women spend about $100.
Making me look real bad right now.
Why? Now, I'm interested. We got two of the women here on the podcast. Why do you spend less money on Valentine's Day
They don't
for
spend
others
any money.
than others spend on you? I mean, is that how it goes? I mean,
So
that's
are,
like less than half.
are
Women
those American
spend less.
statistics or is
American
that national? Or,
American statistics.
National. It makes sense in American culture. I think just culturally speaking, Americans have certain preconceived stereotypes and
Like
conceptions
men,
that
men have to pay.
yes,
you
it goes
for-
back to the original concept of men being
Your
the breadwinner, being the ones that need to, even going back to nature, like win over the female. So I'm gonna guess
Oh,
that
I
it
missed
comes
the
from
clubs.
society
Uh-huh.
and the preconceived notion that that's the role of men. I think that's why that statistic is in place.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. There are some Valentine's Day when had been in a relationship where I did get some really nice, gifts, and in turn I think what I gave was more thoughtful. Not that I
Dunkin'
necessarily.
Donuts card, something.
It's all about the thought, isn't it? Or the lack of, and you forget. The lack of thought, yeah, actually.
Last little figure here, and it's probably no surprise, but Valentine's Day accounts for about a third, 30% of all the floral business in America for the year.
That tracks.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's where I start getting my, let's talk about this. Is Valentine's Day still a big thing? I mean, how important is it for you guys? To me, it's, I think as the decades have gone on, people seem to be less and less enamored with this. Now, the last survey that was done for do you participate in Valentine's Day was done in 2021, and it was a survey of over 8,000 people, and it showed that 52% of adults plan to celebrate Valentine's Day. That said, that number of people who openly celebrate the day has been largely falling since 2009, when 63% of people plan to celebrate Valentine's Day. So where do you find yourself? Are you finding yourself in roughly the half that does or the half that doesn't? Do you care? Do you like the day or not? Bree.
I feel like it's a great excuse to wear pink, and that's about it. I do strongly believe, just going back to my not even conspiracy self, but I do believe that it's another commercially driven holiday that is put in place, kind of taking one historical event in order to drive sales in certain industries and create an income flow for certain businesses. So I think that in recent years, a lot of people have more so taken the stance that, oh, you're supposed to celebrate your loved ones every day, not just on one day of the year. And so that's like probably one reason that participation has fallen. But I am definitely strongly of the opinion that it's completely commercial and that you should celebrate your loved ones year round instead of just on one day.
What about you, Pat? How much money do you put aside for Valentine's Day?
Oh, I haven't partaken in Valentine's Day.
You haven't partaken?
Oh,
Why is that, Pat? Why don't you participate in Valentine's Day?
'cause I'm a loser. I haven't been with anyone for Valentine's Day, I don't think.
You just date and then dump them before Valentine's Day comes? Is that what you're saying?
I don't date.
You don't date.
Are you a Valentine's Day present, Pat?
Huh?
I got you a Valentine's Day present.
I mean, if I had anything going on,
Let us know.
I spent $9 whole on that.
I'd probably, do something, but it's,
I can get really nasty with this one.
well, it's, you do it all year, like relationships I've been in, it's, you don't look for an excuse to do something on one day of the year, It's more of, a lot of the, stuff that I see done on Valentine's is more of like, it's very materialized, like it's buying like this big bouquet of flowers or chocolate or whatever it is. It's not really going out and doing something, like whoever says, yeah, we went on Valentine's Day, we went on a hike or something, like it's always like, oh, I bought like this teddy bear, whatever it is. So it's very materialized.
Very materialistic, yeah.
And I don't know, it's one of the, if I was with somebody that really cared a lot about it, I would definitely put the effort forth to make it a good day. But I think, like, in my opinion, a healthy relationship, you're doing that all year. It's not like, oh, I have to plan, set a reminder on your calendar. Oh, this day of the year, make sure you do something.
What about you, Adam?
Yes. What Pat said.
What Pat said?
That's what Pat said.
I just want to point out that
So
I did
you
spend
don't-
money on
you don't-
Valentine's
you
Day
don't,
this year.
You don't date? That's what Pat said.
You're just a gigolo.
Yes,
Everywhere
that.
I
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. No, I don't know. Definitely not like a big deal thing for me one way or the other. But kind of
Has
like
it ever been, or did it lose its luster for you?
I mean, sure, I have participated in spending way too much money on Valentine's Day for a long time.
Yeah.
But like, kind of, I agree with what Pat said, where it's like you don't need to do it for one day just because. So it's
I think that's my big beef with it, is that, if you're not doing it all the time, Valentine's Day almost seems like you're just, okay, here it is. I've done my due diligence, and that's it.
yeah, I gotta check the
and
box.
relationships are not
Yeah.
about, the best way I've heard it put is dutiful roses is a contradiction in terms. If it is a duty to give somebody roses, the whole point is gone. That, if it's not a gift, a gift and a duty are two different
Spontaneity.
things.
That's kind of like just like in retrospective point. So like growing up, like my parents on Valentine's Day, they would always, come home with like some little like gift for my sister and I. And I think like a lot of people do associate Valentine's Day like as a romantic holiday when, and I would even go out on a limb to say that like when you're kind of raised with the concept that it's just about, like doing something nice for your loved ones, then it kind of takes away that need to like hold on to the concept that, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like alone on Valentine's Day, or oh my gosh, my significant other needs to do this great thing, because you're just like, oh, it's a gestureful day. If you want to do something nice that day, sure, go ahead.
Right.
Take it as like a personal note to do something nice for someone you care about. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, I did make sure that when my daughter woke up, she had, a couple things of chocolate
For
and
kids,
stuff.
it's
Yeah,
important, I
exactly.
think, but
She's
for
11.
adults, it's...
Yeah, so I definitely made sure that happens, and that's always something I do. But I mean, it's not just one day I do that. I do that,
Yeah.
stuff for her a lot. But
What's your favorite Valentine's gift?
Food.
Kendra brought tacos today. It was Taco Tuesday.
Reese's peanut butter cup hearts.
Yep. Reese's peanut butter cup hearts.
Yep. That's the same for every holiday.
Yeah,
Reese's
it's every
peanut
day.
butter cup shamrocks.
That's
Reese's
every day.
peanut butter
Well, I
cup
feel like they
eggs.
do have a
Christmas
little
trees.
extra.
Christmas trees. As long as it's Reese's peanut butter cups,
Yes.
fill in the blank. Chocolate peanut butter.
I did see in my travels today a lot of women in cigar shops picking up cigars. I will say that.
That happened this morning too.
Like definitely throughout the day, different locations. It was got hopping a little bit. You know, like different stuff, and it was fun to watch all of the tobacconists at the different stores trying to figure out who their husband was to get the right thing for them, like because they certainly weren't sure. So it was fun to watch the whole day develop. That was very graphic, Bree. It
Camper.
Wow.
was very graphic. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't reach for it.
I thought you had it for some reason.
It got lost down there. Wow. Oh my goodness. So what do we think now? We haven't really talked about the pairing here at all. Now that we've
I
had a
was
little,
curious what we were doing
chance
here.
to talk and drink, what do you guys think? I think this is fantastic.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Bree, maybe you should tell us what it is we're drinking.
It's an idea. You don't have to.
So we stuck with the rum theme. So our first one obviously was our infused Loon chocolate rum. This is actually just the straight Florida Caña 7-year, so it's the base of the infusion, with a little bit of Di Serono, some cold brew, and a splash of rum chata.
Okay.
It's good.
So I was kind of going with keeping the spiced rum underneath it, giving it a little bit of creaminess with the rum chata, which is commonly paired with rum. It is a rum cream liqueur, and then the cold brew to kind of take the sweet edge off of it, but still kind of keep like the sweetness of the rum and the rum chata. So,
It's definitely really light.
right?
Like it was,
I think the flavors really go well with the tobacco too.
Yes.
Surprisingly, like initially I got a lot of spice from the pairing, and now that sweetness is really coming out.
Have you gotten anything else from it, Pat?
The pairing, to me, doesn't like add or take anything away, but it gives it a creamier texture. Then other than like pencil shavings as the aroma from having a corncob pipe.
you're welcome, Pat.
He's very ungrateful for that Valentine's Day gift. I'm just
Telling you.
saying.
I was thinking of him.
For
I need
his
to help
only
my guy.
one, as he says. So.
Right. That's what I mean.
The second third of the bowl gets a little bit richer, so I mean I'm sticking to the peach that I said. You know, like when you get like towards the center of a peach, it gets darker around when the pit is, and it gets a little bit more like rich, and I'm not gonna say bitter, but it's still sweet, but has like that darker kind of note to it. So that's what's happening here, and then the aroma definitely reinforces that to me again, like peach, and has like kind of a vanilla aromatic kind of scent to it as well.
I love the room note of this stuff.
Yeah. And then on the first light of it, I think the Perique that's in the blend definitely was there. And on the retro, it had a little bit of like that spice sensation to it. But as you go down the bowl and it heats up a little bit, you have like that spice texture on your palate, but it's not giving you that stimulation. So it's really complex pipe tobacco. I like it.
Yeah, that's like
Cool.
the
I'm
sweetness
glad
across
to
the
hear that,
spice.
Pat. I was really thinking that you would like this today.
Yeah, the sweetness across the spice on my tongue is nice. Like what you're saying, like exactly. I'm also just smoking incredibly hot because I'm not doing a good job. But it's like, but that because I like get that bite on the front of my tongue and the sweetness of it.
You getting the pencil shavings?
A little bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's that really nice cardboard filter that comes inside there.
We're smoking the high-end stuff today.
Yeah.
I'm happy
You're
you got to
smoking
participate.
rare, high-end crap.
just
and a
happy-
$10 corn
Just
cob.
happy you got to participate. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy too.
I'm a giver. What do you want from me? It's in my nature.
You're
love-
such a good person.
I love Altadis.
It's my love language, Pat. Gift giving.
And being able to go both ways on Valentine's Day, that's so nice.
Sharing each
2023,
other's
love
pipe.
is love. I don't know what the problem.
But you spent more money on me and your wife today.
Oh, shots fired.
Well, I don't have one of those.
Oh.
And,
Oh, so I guess he didn't, Pat.
Pass, man.
false, Pat.
You're wrong.
False. We'll talk about that off here.
How's that shoe taste?
Oh my goodness. So- don't spit. Don't spit. Don't spit.
That's what she said.
Almost rum out the nose. That wouldn't have been very fun.
It would have been fun for us.
But you retrohale your pipe, but have you retrohaled your drink?
I really try not to.
Yeah.
It's not something I make a practice. We'll just say that.
So, what's our final thoughts here on the Gawith Hoggarth Louisiana Flake?
It's transcended.
Transcendent. Dave, you have spoken. Grupo. What's your
I've
final?
spoken.
What's your final thoughts, Dave? You like this stuff?
I do. I'm a big Virginia guy, and the balance of Virginia and Perique in this is just perfect. You know, I could smoke this all day. This is definitely one of my favorite Gawith and Hoggarth.
Yeah. And, you know, once, like any Gawith Hoggarth stuff, this is a little bit more of a challenge to get lit. But of all the Gawith Hoggarth blends, this has been the easiest
to get lit. Yeah.
I like that you threw me a bone for a minute and then just crushed it right down on top.
Well, no, I mean, it's
That's what we're here for, Adam.
Hey,
Gotta keep you humble.
no, don't worry. Pat and Hardy stuck the knife in between my ribs. It's cool,
he is wearing the red shirt.
though. Totally by accident. Too. Great part. I can't even pretend I did it on
sure
purpose.
that's what everyone said on Star Trek too. I totally planned on wearing the blue shirt.
Yeah, I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Bree, what about yourself?
I think this is like, this pipe tobacco is very indicative of my go-to like pipe tobacco smoke. It has a little bit of that like Perique smokiness that I like so much, but it's also very straightforward. It has that like slight figgy tartness like at the beginning of the bowl, and then just like mellows out into an easy smoke. So I'm enjoying it.
Stacy,
Yes, I've had to relight mine a couple times.
we've
but,
all had to relight
yes,
ours a couple
but
times.
it is definitely a go-to. It had everything as a non-aromatic pipe tobacco that I look for, and I'm enjoying it.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Now,
I'm cracking
Adam,
my
here-
pipe.
Here's the question: Would you smoke this again?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I would probably want to.
Bring your pipe.
Well, it would help. It would also help to plan being here ahead of
yes.
time. To
We
have a
appreciate
pipe
your
with me.
patronage.
But but definitely, I think out of one of my pipes from my collection that maybe doesn't actually burn so hot all on its own would probably help. And
Probably.
once I think I get back into the swing of pipe smoking would be something it would definitely be in the rotation. I think you're right with was a little tougher to light than I wanted it to be. And I think it would taste even better if I wasn't abusing it so poorly. It was what it is. I can't pretend it's on video.
Well, thanks for being with us, Adam.
My
Glad-
pleasure,
glad
as
this worked
always.
out. It was kind of
Of course.
the luck of the draw.
How about it?
Getting that today, and it was great.
Absolutely.
And Bree and Stacy, thanks for being on with us. It's always great to have you guys here. You did great with the pairings again.
Thank you.
Very good
Thank you
job.
for having me.
Yeah, we're all glad you're here. And so, big, thumbs up for this pipe tobacco here. You may have to light it more than you would other stuff, but it's worth it. It's worth the effort.
Yeah.
That's basically our show for tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday, 8 o'clock, right here, wherever you're watching or listening. And that's Not Just Blowing Smoke. You've been listening to Not Just Blowing Smoke, the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twins Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and keep in touch with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke. Thanks for listening, everybody, and that is Not Just Blowing Smoke.